introduce Michael, and we welcome to the club tonight.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, and I see Winston's online. Welcome to Winston as well.
Thank you, Margaret.
That's all right. Michael, we're finally meeting up with you, and looking forward to hearing your talk. But I think Beth was going to introduce you, but she may not.
Hi, Margaret.
Is that Beth? Yep.
Yes, it's Beth.
Beth, you're going to introduce Michael?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Michael, welcome to the meeting of the E-Club. I met Michael at the, first of all, I should say Michael is a member of the Burley Griffin Rotary Club, and I met him at the Goulburn conference and invited him to come along to our club and talk about the Peace Bell. So after much toing and froing, finally Michael's here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, and my apologies for the last failed attempt. It's totally my fault. You might be interested to know that this morning I was supposed to speak to Sunrise, but they accidentally booked another speaker, so I had a case of my own back. So it's 1-1 between making it to speak to a club.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, who's that?
Ross.
Oh, g'day, Ross, how are you? Very good. See you again.
Right.
You've done well to get connected and get everything standing up.
Well, we seem to be connected. I hope it all works. We'll see. I was good at getting to this part. So, Margaret, do you want me to start? I'm just sort of sitting here.
Yes, I thought Beth introduced you, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get going, and if anybody has any questions as I go along, please, I don't know how it works, but stop me if you can and ask the question. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to the club tonight. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's a project that started back in 2014. Actually, it's probably started before that. My wife's a guide at the Australian War Memorial, has been for about 15 years. And while she's been a guide, we've been fortunate to have been able to make a number of overseas trips where we've visited battlefields and places where Australian soldiers have fought. That's included places like Gallipoli. We've been there on Anzac Day, a very moving place to be on that day. I played two up at Villas Bretano one year on another visit, and on Anzac Day as well, and was competing with some Australian soldiers who were in a rugby team playing a visit to Europe, and for about 10 spins I backed tails and this young man backed heads, and he had a lovely trip as a result. I helped him financially. Eventually gave up, and you wouldn't believe it, the next spin after I stopped it was tails. We've been to Hellfire Pass in Thailand. We picked up the speaker from their museum prepared by the Australian War Memorial, and you get to a certain point and hit a number, and a voice would tell you what you were looking at. And I got to one particular place and I was looking out on a valley, most beautiful view, and we hit the appropriate number, and Tom Uren's voice came on and telling about his experience when he was a prisoner on that Hellfire Pass cutting the Burma Railway. And his comments was that he thought it was such a beautiful valley that he would have to come back one day when it was over. And I hadn't thought much about Tom Uren until that moment in time, but since that time I've had a lot of appreciation for that man, for the empathy and the forgiveness too, I guess, that he had shown. The first peace bell you're looking at, that's the United Nations peace bell. And interestingly, it was donated by the Japanese people to the United Nations in 1954. And the inspiration for this bell came from a Japanese soldier who had fought in the Sino-China War and then fought in Burma. When he was a young boy, in his village, there was a temple bell. He grew up in another town, and he remembered this bell. And in Burma, he was wounded, and he came back to consciousness, and as he did, he heard the sound of the bell. And he was so moved that at that moment he decided that he would have to do something in a peaceful way to make up for what had happened. And this bell was the result. And then it was in the 70s that another Japanese businessman started to make replicas and place them around the world. And there are now 22 of them in the world. Our bell will be number 23. It's here in Canberra already. It's being stored at the Australian War Memorial Annex. Brendan Nelson very kindly offered to do that. This is the Hiroshima bell. And I don't know if anybody's been to Hiroshima and rung that bell. I have. It's a very moving place to be because it's right at the epicenter of where the bomb was dropped. And when you look at that place, you'll see that it's a conjunction of two rivers, and it makes a Y shape and a perfect target from 30,000 feet. On that particular day, there were thousands of Japanese school children clearing fire breaks around Hiroshima because the city was being bombed. And that's why so many children were killed. It's a very moving place to visit, I've got to tell you. And this one is the Christchurch bell, and it was in Christchurch in 2014 that Joan and I made a visit. And this is the Botanic Gardens in Christchurch. Just up the street is the CBD, which of course had been flattened after the earthquake. And so you come from the devastation of the city to this beautiful Botanic Gardens and walk around the corner, and I saw this bell. And I'm just going to try something. Let me see if this works. I just want you to hear, if I hold this up, let me just get it going. This is a young girl ringing that bell in Christchurch. Sorry for that scratchy noise. And now I've got to stop it. And I'm standing there in the Botanic Gardens looking at that bell. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. We should have one here in Canberra. And it was from that moment, May 2014, that this idea started. I came back to Burley Griffin Rotary and with the idea that we should bring a bell to Canberra. The club has supported it the whole way. The members of our club and the club made a donation of $1 million yen to the World Peace Bell Association, and in return they sent us our bell. So now we're wanting to build a pavilion to house the bell. Why a peace bell? Well, to remind us of the need for peace. And since the original idea, it is so many terrible things have happened that we really need it more and more. And this bell will not only ring for world peace, but we see it also covering domestic violence. So basically from the home to the world. Now, I've just got two maps here. You can see on what will be the left, I guess, the original plan. And you'll notice that the path goes nowhere. The pathway was never finished. On the right-hand side, you can see the circle, and you can see that line where the path has been continued to make the circle, and then going off at 90 degrees, another pathway down to where the peace bell will be located. And you'll see the triangular shape of the bell there. we believe the ACT government is going to assist with the landscaping. We're providing the pavilion and the bell. And you see that black line on the proposed plan, that's a wall. And the architect put that wall there to be like an end destination point for the pathway. But I saw it, and I saw it as an opportunity. And so we're trying to create now the Chief Minister's Rotary Peace Prize, which would be allocated each year. And we hope that when people come and ring the bell for peace, they'll also make some small donations. And from those donations, it's our plan to allocate $1,000 to the foundation. And in return for that, we'll be able to allocate a Paul Harris Fellow, and we will allocate that to the recipient of the Peace Prize each year. One of the ideas of that is to keep the ACT government very much involved in the project, but also to be able to recognise people doing good work for peace. This landscape plan's been developed by David Telfer as a pro bono exercise. I've just put up now some sketches of the bell. It's a very hard thing to draw, but if you see that very bottom right-hand corner, it's fan shaped. It's going to be made out of steel and RJH girders. And you'll see that the hammer of the bell is there. It's able to be taken down, and we will, our aim is to control that hammer. So we will put it up when there's a Rotary presence at the bell, or when there is a request for a special event at the site. And we're hoping that there'll be special events practically every week of the year. We want as many people as possible to be able to come and ring the bell. I'm showing you now an image there of Laura Kasparek and her father Fred. The design of the bell was made by Laura. She's an architectural student, also a former RIPEN student, which I found out later. She designed the bell from a Chinese fan. You can see that at the top. I work for LJ Hooker, and I'd gone to our project marketing man who deals with a lot of architects and asked him if that Kasparek fellow might help me draw up plans for a very basic pavilion, just emulating what was already at the park. And he said yes. In any event, a week or two later, I rang him up again and I said, Fred, I've just had a moment, an aha moment, where I realised that I haven't given you any licence to design something more interesting. He said, funny you should say that. He said, come and have a look at what I've got. And he showed me his daughter's design. We have a cardboard model of it. Some of you may have seen that. And so there was never any discussion after that moment about what the Bell's pavilion should look like. And Fred has been a driving force, as well as a platinum supporter of the Bell, behind the project. Without him, this wouldn't be happening. We've already got approval now from NCA to use the land. We've got approval from the World Peace Bell Association. We've got a signed development application from ACPLA to build the bell. We're ready to go. We just have to, the bell's being stored at the Australian War Memorial Annex. We've created a website, this is it. And you can go on to canberrapeacebell.org and have a look at our website. And you'll see in the top right-hand corner, there's a button called Donate. You can, if you wanted to make a personal donation to the pavilion, you can do that there. And that website is going quite well. We're seeking supporters for the bell, and you can see platinum, gold, silver and bronze. We have 2 platinum supporters. The Canberra Centre is coming on board with a $25,000 donation. Fred Kasparek has donated more than that in kind, plus $5,000. We have so far 2 gold supporters. Our Rotary Club is a gold supporter, and also Pavilion Homes. At the moment, we have about 4 excuse me, silver supporters, including the Rotary Club of Belconnen and a number of builders. And we have a number of bronze supporters, including the Rotary Club of Canberra City and also the Rotary Club of Canberra Western Creek. and we are seeking support from Rotary clubs, and we would love for Brindabella if you can find a way to support it as well. One of the things that we, in return, we would like to offer clubs is the opportunity to conduct ringing events at the bell. And when that happens, we will have a donation box and we will have some Rotary paraphernalia explaining how the money would be used. And we have basically 4 ideas. One is Rotary Foundation, one is Shoulder Box Australia, one is sort of a Rotary Foundation extension being Rotary Peace Scholars, and the 4th one, which we would want to support, is work being done on domestic violence. And so clubs who come and run an event, we would ask them any money that is donated on that day, that club in their name donates to one of those 4 areas of service. If it's not Rotary, who else is going to be pushing for this type of activity? We're world leaders in this field. It's one of the avenues of service for Rotary, peace, and yet it's very difficult generally to find a cause which you can build a peace project around. This pavilion will provide a location where people can come and contemplate what's happening, to reflect, to send a message to the Prime Minister, to despots, to ISIS, to any aggressive group anywhere in the world, to stop it, to find a better way. And I'd just like to finish with some words from the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, or Lao Tzu, I think it is. This is what he said in about 1500 and something. It's a long time ago. But back then he said, if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there's to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there's to be peace between cities, there must be peace between neighbours. If there's to be peace between neighbours, there must be peace in the home. And if there's to be peace in the home, there must be peace, stand up, heart. There must be peace in the heart. And that theme was a former Rotary International President's catchphrase, and past District Governor Len Goodman was kind enough to direct me to those words, and they're the words that really drive the intentions of this peace bill. Peace in the world, peace in the home, put an end to domestic violence, put an end to war. There we are. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Michael?
Michael, I don't know if you can hear me. It's Bruce, and welcome.
Oh, g'day, Bruce.
Good to see you, mate.
Nice to see you too, and it's not in the loop.
Isn't it? Mike, I'm just wondering, what's the total target that you have in terms of fundraising?
At least $100,000, and we're at 80,000 so far. We have a project coming up being sponsored by LJ Hooker. It's called the Rotary Ride for Peace. We're inviting people to ride from their local LJ Hooker office to the Peace Bell site. And we're asking each rider to raise between $250 and $500. We hope that will help bridge the gap, but we might need a few more dollars as well. So any support any clubs can give us would be appreciated. But $80,000 so far. When we get to 100, I believe we'll be able to start the project. And I hope that will happen within the next 2 to 3 months.
That's fantastic.
Michael, it's Norm. A very quick question. How much did the bell actually cost? Because it looks like a pretty substantial.
Yes, it cost $1 million
Australian dollars. I know it was $1 million, but what does that translate into?
$12,000.
12,000.
12,000. So we don't want to lose it.
Not.
No. Someone at Woden Club last night said, you know, what about if it's stolen? Well, it'll be pretty securely attached to the pavilion. So we hope that it's going to hang there for, well beyond all of our lifetimes anyway.
How much does it weigh?
365 kilos.
Ooh.
You can't put it in your back pocket.
Michael, I can't remember if you mentioned, but does the bell have history, or is it a new bell?
It's a new bell. So they strike them from the original mould, the one that was sent to the United Nations. And there are 22 of them elsewhere in the world. By the way, I forgot to mention, there's one in Canberra. We talked with the Mayor of Canberra. Theirs hangs, strangely, not at the Japanese gardens, but it hangs outside their council chambers. Yeah. By the way, one other thing I'd like to say about this bell. It's not often in Canberra that monuments come from the ground up. I know of some, for instance, on Anzac Parade, that's happened that way, that different associations have prompted them. But mostly things come from the top down, don't they? This is very much a ground up thing, and very much with a Rotary name on it.
Michael, do you have a date at which you're going to sort of ring it for the first time?
Not yet. As soon as possible. The world needs to hear it. But May, I don't know. It might be May or June or July. No, it won't be May. It might be maybe June or July if things go well.
Is there a particular day in a year where it would be appropriate to ring that bell for the first time?
World Peace Day is the third Tuesday in September. But I'm hoping we have it finished before then. But some of the things, we will ring it on that day. We will ring it at the Candle Festival. You know, that's the project that our club originally sponsored. That's now run by the ACT Chief Minister's Office. We'll ring it on the anniversary of the tsunami in Japan. We will look for those sort of events where the lives were lost, where there are tragedies, or where there were, we may commemorate some of these terrible events that are happening now. And it may be a place, you know, when something like a Nice, where a fellow drove the truck through all those people, it may be a place where people can go and lay flowers and express their feelings about such events. We certainly will encourage that. We want it to be a meeting place for people in Canberra. And it's very peaceful, as you know, at Nara Park, where it's going to be located. Beautiful spot.
Are there any other questions?
Mike, it's Bruce again. The issue of maintenance and control and that sort of thing, how's that going to be managed?
Yeah, we hand this bell and pavilion, not the hammer, to the ACT government. So it'll be handled by Parks and Gardens, or TAMS, I guess. They will be responsible for maintaining it. However, you know, we have a Friends of the Peace Park, of Nara Peace Park now, because not everything is done. So I would imagine that our club will keep an eye on it as well. It's responsible for the ACT government.
Okay.
Michael, with the hammer, how is that going to be operated? Is it going to be looked after by your particular club, or is it going to be a sort of a...
Our plan for it is that will be a storage cabinet under the pavilion, under the base of the pavilion, and so it'll be stored in there. There'll be a ladder to reconnect it. It'll simply be hanging by wires, so it'll be a simple thing to rehang, so people will encourage people to contact the club to arrange special ringing events.
Yeah.
So and I see our club having an ongoing role to coordinate that aspect of it. And I would hope that many Rotary clubs will organise their own events. For instance, in your case, you might a simple thing might be when you're having some of your get-togethers, you might have a picnic day at the park and arrange with us to ring the bell, just as a Rotary exercise. Or there might be, I know you're involved. It's Dream Cricket, is it, Bruce? That you're. I know you were.
Yeah.
A project like that, you might bring all of those cricketers to the park, at some time, and have a special ringing event for them. So these events can be orchestrated and arranged. And whenever Rotary's there, I think we should be asking for a donation as well. So that's the idea of the donation box. Obviously voluntarily, but I think people will put a couple of dollars in the tin if they come and ring the bell. That doesn't happen elsewhere, by the way. That's just our club's twist on it. We think that it can be a fundraiser for peace.
Right.
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations. I think it's a fantastic thing you're doing, and sure, we're all going to look forward to one day pulling that little beam back and having it hit the bell.
It's I tell you what, I've rung Kara's bell now a few times. Whenever I go through, I stop. I said about the one in Hiroshima and the one in Christchurch. When you do ring a bell like that, it is a very sort of special moment, and it depends on the attitude of the person. But if you take the time to reflect what you're really saying, it's quite a moving thing. And I hope you can all come and ring it. And we'll certainly have a major opening ceremony and so forth. And by the way, we've talked to many church groups, and we want them to be involved. Some blessings. We'll probably have a smoking ceremony. One of the Commonwealth Club, turn left, drive past the Canberra Mosque. And I was always driving past thinking, how can I get to meet those people and talk to them? In the end, Dr. Google. So I Googled the president of the mosque, and we had a meeting with them, and very supportive. Then I found out that the mosque is run by a trust from the Embassy of Indonesia and the High Commissioner of Malaysia and Pakistan. I had a meeting with Her Excellency, the High Commissioner for Pakistan. She's also very supportive of the idea. Didn't know that she could get me any money from Islamabad, but she's going to make a donation. I've spoken with the Rabbi Meltzer at the Jewish community. We want all groups to be involved with this spell. And I haven't had anybody say, oh, what a silly idea, or no, we're not interested. It's a different matter of getting money out of people, but it's everybody likes the idea, I think.
Michael, I think we have someone come in by telephone, and I see that they look like they want to ask a question, so I don't know who it is. I'll hand over to them.
No, it's me. It's Ross. How you doing?
Good, Ross.
G'day. I finally got on. I had one of the numbers around the wrong way. Sorry about that. Oh, this is a peace bell, no doubt. I didn't hear all of it. I presume it is. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Well, the previous club that I was in was the Rotary Club of Canberra South, and in that club there was a member, and there probably still is, called Ettore di Buzzati, an Italian who actually comes from Trieste, but his wife comes from a place called Rovereto, which is up in the mountains. And there's a huge peace bell up there, and and there was a sort of a pilgrimage back to that. And in fact, I've been up there and seen it one of the times I was in Italy. It was a great idea and still is. So, congratulations. I think that's a top move. This one, of course, is much older than than it's not a new thing. Put it that way. Not much older. It's not a new thing, and it's quite a large piece of kit. So well done.
365 kilos. It's not exactly small either.
No.
It'll be pretty impressive, and with this pavilion that we've had designed, I think it's going to look fantastic. At least I hope it does. Anyway, we'll see. Not far off.
No, I would agree. I'm not saying it's not. It might well be bigger, but the one up there was certainly very large too.
I think it gives people a moment to reflect on what's going on around them, and I think that's important in this day and age.
That's right. Michael, it's Beth here. On behalf of the Rotary E-Club of Brindabella, I'd like to thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. I first saw a presentation on the Peace Bell at your club's changeover last year when Rob was the Governor's representative. And so I'm so pleased that you've been able to come and tell members of this club about it, and for those that weren't able to be at the conference in October. So thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Beth. It's my pleasure to come, and again, I apologise for my failed attempt, but at least now everybody's heard, and for those that aren't here tonight, they can hear the recording and find out about the Peace Bell. And again, we would love to see the Rotary Club of Brindabella assist in whatever capacity. Some clubs, by the way, some members have made combined donations. In some cases, the club's made donations. If you're doing an individual donation through the website, it's tax deductible, so you'll get an instant receipt. If it's a Rotary donation, we're not paying tax anyway, so it can just come direct to us. But anyway, whatever help can be given will be most appreciated. And I'd love to be seeing a Brindabella ringing day at the bell in the future.
Thank you.
Okay.
Over to you, Margaret.
Agenda for the evening. There's a few bits and pieces. First, Dream Cricket. We have spoken, I think, to various people today, and we've agreed, if that's all right, David, if we can have an online committee meeting, and we just need to work out which is the most suitable date to do that.
Yep. You just tell me the date and I'll set the meeting up.
Okay. Bruce, what you said,
Yep.
You said Wednesday's out for you.
Yes.
I'd give up choir on a Tuesday if that's any easier for everybody.
I could do Wednesday if it was a little bit later. I mean, if it was a sort of 8:30 start or something like that, if that was the only day that would suit everybody else.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to get an idea from everybody. So, Ross, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yep.
What day was...
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind in the evening. No, in the evenings it's generally fine. I generally do things on the weekend, on Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I'm like Bruce. It doesn't necessarily mean that I can't drop it, and like you.
Okay.
And make a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
What about 6 o'clock at night, or is that too early? Or
Bruce, you'll be tied up with grandchildren, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll finish sort of by 8ish, so that would be all right.
Right. Okay.
If it's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Or what night suits most people? Judy and Norm, where are you?
We can't do Wednesday, but we could do Tuesday and Thursday quite happily around about 8:30.
Okay. Well, we make it next Thursday.
It's good.
Margaret, I'm confused. Are you, is this a Dream Cricket Committee meeting? You're not asking for all members?
Well, if you'd like to sit in, but it's a committee meeting.
Thank you. That's all I need. Yep.
There's quite a number of nuts and bolts issues we need to discuss about some clinic and gala day, and we felt that probably it was better to do it at a committee meeting rather than take up all our time tonight.
Right, that's fine. I just have, I had mentioned to some of our Canberra members that there was a fundraising exercise at our place on next Thursday night. And I think Ross was one of those people. So
Right. Okay.
I just flagged that, that's all.
Okay. Well, can we make it Thursday?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Thursday is a night when we've got people.
All right. Well, Tuesday suit everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, about 8:30 if possible.
8:30, 8 at the earliest.
Yep. Okay.
Tuesday the 14th at 8:30, is that possible?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Tuesday the 14th at 8:30.
If I'm mumbling, it'll be like usual, of course, but I go back to the Fang Farrier on that day, but I should be right by the evening.
Right, okay.
I'll work on it.
Okay. So, okay, well, we'll leave it at 8:30 on Tuesday the 14th. Is that all right with you, David?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thanks very much.
That's
Right,
good.
we've done that one. Actually, just for everybody's information, we just ran the Rebounders weekend for Youth Exchange, just immediate last weekend at Turos Head, and launched another 13 students into the world of Rotex or wherever. Ross, I did ask about some of them about where to with Rotary now. They prefer more informal get-togethers, and they'll go to a big event. And I think they didn't want us to organise anything formal for them. So they are doing it too. They are maintaining contact and meeting up on occasions, but they didn't want us to do anything more formal than that. There's something else I can't think. Now the other thing is the request for sponsorship of another outbound student for next year. So it'll be 2018 student coming in. The selections will be in June, and they'll actually need students are applying now, so they'll need to determine whether we're going to sponsor, whether they're available for sponsorship for another student this year. So what's everybody's feeling on that?
How much is involved, Margaret?
Pardon?
Sorry, Bruce, Margaret, how much is involved now?
It's about, it's probably close to $1,000 by the time you pay for the sponsorship fee, the jacket, although that's cheaper now. It might be around, closer to $500-600. All the bits and pieces you do for the students while they're away and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Margaret, given that we just had a student at Rypen, is it Rypen or Rylar? I don't know. Rylar. Rylar. And I'm not sure how much that has cost the club. And so I'd like to find that out before I made I suggest, I agreed to a commitment to a student because we do have limited funds.
Yeah. So the RILA commitment was $900.
Right. Well, we've
Okay.
spent that.
Mhm.
We've
But
spent
I agree, we need to get a better idea, better visibility of the budget that we have and the money we have and where and what for.
I agree. I think we need to have a budget sorted before we make any further commitments.
Yeah, I agree. So, Norm, do we have a budget yet, or how's it going?
We really need to have a meeting to discuss that so we have an idea of what costs are likely to be coming up that I'm not aware of.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
I can give you a budget of some of the things I'm aware of, but I'm certainly not aware of everything.
Right, okay.
Beth, when are you likely to be in Nowra next?
You're talking
I'm
to
back on. I can come in and see you next week. I'm back on going in twice a week.
And Margaret, I was talking to Beth.
Pardon?
I was talking to Beth.
Beth, sorry.
I don't have a plan to be in Nowra anytime. We will be all together in March.
Yeah, I think that's a good time.
Perhaps we could get together before our birthday celebration.
Yes, I'd be very happy to do that and have a sort of basic plan set up, and we can then sort of agree it and then put it to the club.
Yep. I think we also need to involve Lyndall in that because it will be in Lyndall's year.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay, let's aim for that on that Saturday morning or something.
Yes, I could be available on Saturday morning or the afternoon, whichever suits.
Yeah.
Morning might be better because I might have a drink at lunch.
Yeah, right.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
Only
I
one.
could. well, one.
Why don't we set for 10 o'clock Saturday so that you know where you're at and all that sort of jazz.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, Winston and Michael, the club is 5, I think, isn't it? On the 17th of March, and we're having a celebration in Canberra.
In terms of
we've got
that's probably
clarify
35.
a few things before we invite people. I've had an email from Lyndall today. She wants to know a few things, and then we'll know what to tell everybody. Update. She said if it's a charter lunch, we all agreed on a lunch or a dinner.
Lunch.
Lunch, but it's not the charter.
Okay, well, she's calling it that. Okay. The lunch. Now, the Southern Cross Club and the Hellenic Club have vacancies. We've got to make a decision on that one. The cost will be very similar at both for 2-course lunch, either entree and main or main and dessert. If anyone has any preferences, let her know, and she'll book for between 30 to 40 people tomorrow. Also, if you would like to invite somebody, please send her the details and she'll send out the invitations. She suggested the DG and the AG. And has anyone got any suggestions of anyone else who should be invited?
Well, yes, we have already discussed that we would invite the people from the Fishwick Rotary Club that are still around.
Okay.
And, Ross has been very kind to do that in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should go to the Hellenic Club. That would be my preference.
Yeah, I like the Hellenic Club. Yeah. Anyone else got any preference?
No.
No, we all agree?
I think
No, it's better than
Hellenic is good.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Just, Margaret, if I can just jump in there on the Canberra Gala Day for Dream Cricket is on the 23rd of that week, and I think there would be great value if as many people as possible, and certainly the Dream Cricket Committee could come, could be there and see it in operation. I think you'd learn. It would be a very valuable sort of experience.
We've all discussed. We had a little meeting over here yesterday. You'll have Judy, Norm, John, and I, and Steve Smith from Gerringong.
Yep.
So we're all coming. We all intend to come.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. The only thing is, it was just very close to that date. So is that going to mean
Everything is close to that date.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So it would mean 2 trips. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
That's all right. We've got on the 21st. We've got Dream Cricket at Sanctuary Point too. So.
Oh right.
We're going to have a Dream Cricket for a few weeks, aren't we, Judy?
Yeah.
Yep. Sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's good, but we'll work out the detail in our meeting, Bruce. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Just for everyone's information, Olivia wrote a very long report for John, and he's passed it on to me, and it's very newsy. She's all overwhelmed with a wow factor and everything else because of the snow and learning to ski and everything else that's going on. She's just being Olivia, I think. But anyway, it's a lovely letter, and I've popped it up on Dropbox for anyone who's interested to read it. She apologised.
They're great people.
Pardon?
They're great people, the Norwegian.
Yeah. No, she's just having a great time. And she's in Austria, of course, but...
Is she? Oh.
Yeah, she swapped with Ida from the same family. Their daughter Ida is with South Nowra now, so and they hosted us. So she's gone to their parents. So yeah, it was a good switch. Yeah, and she did apologise. She wanted to actually come online, but she worked out the time lapse. She was in school, so she couldn't make it. Right. Now, I think if we just go around, if everyone's got something to say or anything to... yeah, I'm noticing that, Judy.
That was Norm. That was Norm.
Yeah. Yeah, so Norm and Judy, we'll start with you. You have anything you want to report?
I think Dream Cricket's taking up a lot of our brain power and just trying to find a budget and money and things, but we're certainly all going to be up there in Queanbeyan, Bruce, so that'll be very enlightening and very useful.
Okay, it's at Kingston Oval.
Oh, everyone keeps muttering Queanbeyan at me. Kingston Oval, that's even better.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll get the detail later.
Yep.
Now, Winston, I know this is your first meeting with us, but is there anything you'd like to say?
Winston.
Hi, Bruce. Beth.
Good.
No, okay.
No, nothing from me. It's all good.
Okay.
I enjoyed your presentation, Michael.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Bruce, have you got anything else?
No, I'd just like to say it's great to see you again, Mike, and wonderful work that you're doing. I think it's fantastic, and anything we can possibly do to help you, just let us know. Apart from that, no, I think that we've covered everything, and we'll cover the rest at the separate meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Could I just jump in and particularly to Bruce, because I know you're very much involved with Dream Cricket. I really have no idea what you're talking about, and why don't you make contact with us and maybe come and be a speaker at the club, and let Billy Griffin know what Dream Cricket's all about. Maybe we can help.
Sure, great. Yep, yeah. Who's your I'll look it up. That's okay.
George Wilson.
George
Or
Wilson.
if you send something to me, I can pass it on to George.
Okay. All right. Yep. I'll be very happy to, because we've got our big gala day coming up on March the 23rd, as you've just heard. So it'll be a good chance to get someone to come along and have a look at it too.
Yeah.
Right, David. David, did you hear from David Bissiker, the AG?
I have not, no. No. Was he after something?
Oh, he told me he was going to be online, and because he has a meeting with the DG on the weekend, and he wanted to know what we're up to, but obviously not.
No, I'm sorry. I was contacted by Winston and by a lady, but not by the AG. Sorry. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw a message from Ross McConnell come up about fellowships. He spoke at Burley Griffin a few weeks ago. So Ross, yes, I know of two, both me. One is I've joined a caravan group, and the second one I've joined the Peace Fellowship. So your talk had an impact on me, if no one else. And just on that issue, may I say that after visiting Woden Club last night, I was drawn to the comment comparing to my Rotary years when I was in Coffs Harbour. As Rotary clubs, we've become so isolated. We don't talk to each other enough. And I don't mean at a district level now, I mean at club to club level. And I reckon we should all be looking at ways that we can do more things together as individual clubs within our area. Just
Ross McConnell?
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting... Oh, I am getting sound. Sorry, I was trying before and the sound wasn't coming through. The only things to say is I'm going up to Barrel Club next Tuesday. 2-hour drive up, 2-hour meeting, 2-hour drive back. So if anyone wants to come for a ride, be at Belconnen at 4 o'clock, doing the talk on fellowships. Other than that, nothing else at the moment. Still looking for ideas where we can do duck racing, because I've got these ducks sitting here.
Quack, quack.
Ross, you might be pleased to know I gave a chat on eClub at the weekend to the rebounders and parents and mentioned ducks.
Thank you.
Sort of fascinated by the idea of ducks, but they didn't actually offer anything, but it might have left a glimmer of something. I don't know. Right. Right, Rob, anything there?
All I'll say is that that's the fourth time I've heard Michael, and he never ceases to impress me with his passion for the Peace Bell Project. Great to hear you again, Michael. All the best.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob.
Okay. Thank you. Beth?
Thanks, Margaret. I have a couple of things. I've been speaking to Judy in relation to the clothing stall, and I'll be seeing District Governor-elect Mark on Saturday. So I will ask him, I've sent him an email already, but I'll just confirm on Saturday that he's okay for our club to do the RDU clothing stall at the conference and also at the assembly in April.
Beth, he agreed to that earlier in the piece, but anyway.
Yeah, well, we just formalise it and make sure he hasn't forgotten. But thank you, Margaret. Well, Judy and I couldn't remember if we had asked him or not.
Does anyone know where the assembly is?
Yes, it's in Canberra at the Hellenic Club.
It is the Hellenic Club, right? Okay, thanks.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, Rob says no.
That's right.
Coaches at the Hellenic Club, I know.
Rob says it's in Canberra, but he doesn't think it's at the Hellenic Club. So I'm getting assembly and pets mixed up. And the other thing that I had to raise was that the Rotary Club of Canberra North has asked us if they could transfer their meeting to our place next Thursday night at 6 p.m. So that they can inspect the collection of cars and motorbikes. And so I have mentioned to David and I mentioned to Ross, but we're looking for a couple of members from our club that would be prepared to cook some steaks and some onions, yeah, just so that we can accommodate their meal. I can do all the purchasing, etc., but we need help with the barbecue.
Yes, I'll pop over and help. I actually have always been wanting to have a look at that collection myself.
Right.
So if I help, I might even be able to feed myself.
You might.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, Winston.
Okay. Thank
Actually,
you.
Thanks,
Mike.
Bev. I went to Bomaderry, had a function, a fundraiser. What they're doing is having home barbecues about every quarter. So they have 4 a year. Members pay their normal $20 or whatever the meal fee is into the kitty. The cost is the cost of the barbecue, and a member puts it together and people donate dessert. But they're raising and they have a raffle. So they're raising sort of $500 to $1,000 each time. So it's just a thought, but it seemed to me that it probably was a fairly simple way of fundraising. So if anyone
good idea.
is so minded to offer to do it,
Margaret, I just had I just wanted to also report on the foundation for tonight. Given that we've had Michael's talking about the Peace Bell, our foundation's commitment to peace. This February, we celebrate the success of our Rotary Peace Centres and the important work that graduates in the program are doing throughout the world to honour peace and conflict prevention / resolution.
Yeah.
In the 1930s, clubs in France and Germany formed the first Petite Committee, now known as an Intercountry Committee. Both countries were still recovering from a devastating war, but the former adversaries knew that peace, however fragile, was worth keeping. Although a Second World War dashed their hopes, these peace-minded Rotarians convened in 1950. Since then, Rotarians have formed 250 intercountry committees to promote international friendship, service and peace. That's the foundation report for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Beth. Thank you for that. Ross, did you have anything? Ross Ellis, you still online?
No, I've got 2 things. Three. Thanks, Michael. I didn't hear your entire presentation, but I got the gist of it. Thank you indeed. Secondly, the Kintor project. Where are we with that, please, David?
Sorry?
Hello?
Where
you there, David?
Yes, here, mate.
Yeah.
No, the Kintor project goes ahead. They're moving into South Australia now. So it's in a second bus too, I think. So it's powering along. We're just waiting to see what we want to do and whether we have any money to do it. So.
Right.
Have they got a shopping list for us? Or?
Oh, they've always got a shopping list, mate. Yeah. Shopping list.
Sure.
Yeah.
So all we got to do is raise some money.
Raise some money or send a work group, whatever you want. If you don't want to raise money, send a work group. That'd be easy.
Yeah, probably. That's not a bad tool, is it? Now, the other thing, the third thing I wanted to say is that don't forget for the Gala Day on the 23rd of March, Thursday the 23rd of March, and I'm sure everybody hasn't heard that tonight, the Governor-General is going to open it. So that should draw a crowd, hopefully.
What time does it start, Ross?
Oh, it'll start around, everyone will get there around about 9. I mean, the working committee will be there well before that. But I would think that the students and so forth will start arriving around about 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the actual opening ceremony, which is going to be around about 9:45 in that area, Ross. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The activities start at 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Ross, what time do you want
David,
us there?
on Kinto.
Pardon? Sorry.
Go. No, Ross is
Hello.
Go, Rob.
Ross has dropped into oblivion.
No, I'm there. I'm here.
David,
I'm here.
I was just going to ask,
Yeah, go.
am I coming through, David?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just asking on Kintor, you said, could we send a work group out there? Do you know if Canberra East is sending a work group and we could join in with them?
Canberra East, I've no
Canberra
idea.
Woden would be, wouldn't it?
Canberra Woden.
Canberra Woden, sorry.
Certainly, not Canberra Woden, Woden, because it hasn't been called Canberra Woden for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. No, it hasn't been. That's right, too.
Yeah, Woden is, Woden has parties going all the time, and there's other clubs going too, so up from Canberra and around Australia going. I can get you the list if you're interested. We can put together a program and people could go if they wish.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Michael, thanks very much for your presentation tonight.
Thanks, Margaret.
I hadn't heard it, so I'm very impressed. It's just a wonderful project, and I hope we can make use of the bell and the park and help celebrate with it, peace with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Well, Dream cricket on the 14th at 8:30, did I say? And Beth, have a good evening with, who was it? With your cars and I'm sorry.
Canberra North, Margaret.
Canberra North, yes, that's what I'm looking at. I've got little notes here and I had to find the right one. Anyway, thanks everyone for this evening, and might as well, I think we can close the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Good night.
Bye.